Good morning, class. I got new glasses. What are they, you might be asking? Well, there are these things that sit on my face, and they make it so that I can see shit really good. Um, this episode is sponsored by glasses, and if you're looking to have your own little windshield for your eyes, all you gotta do is Google glasses and be like, glasses where? And then you can have glasses like these, which you might be saying look a lot like my old glasses. And that is mean. So this month we read Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. This book is the sequel to A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, which I left at my parents' house, so I cannot show that book to you. This book focuses on Monty's sister, Felicity. She is like super interested in medicine. She's like 16 years old or whatever. And at the end of the first book, they all sort of split ways. Monty and Percy went to London, and Felicity went to Edinburgh. So that's a choice. So I give this book a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads because it's very good. This book is basically good. Oh my god. If you unsubscribed right there, I would not blame you. So Felicity gets a marriage proposal from this guy that she's working for, and she's like, no, I'm asexual. She doesn't know it. She doesn't have the words for it because it's the 1700s. But the author Mackenzi Lee did confirm that Felicity is asexual. So Felicity then runs away to London to be with Percy and Monty, and she's gonna try to get into medical school in London. She goes, and they all fucking laugh at her, except for this one dude who's like, you know that medical dude that you're obsessed with? Well, he's actually in Stuttgart, and he is going, I think that's how you pronounce it, and he is going to be marrying Joanna Hoffman, who was never mentioned in the first book, but Felicity immediately is like, for Joanna! And suddenly we are in Sweeney Todd. I feel you, Joanna. Unfortunately, that's not what's happening. I wish. She goes to Stuttgart and tries to reconnect with Joanna and Alexander Platt, who is the doctor that she's obsessed with, are going to get married. And then, like, there's a lot of stealing going on, and Felicity's like, I gotta get to the bottom of this one real fast. So that's what she tries to do. They end up running away to Zurich? I don't know. I only took 1 semester of German, and so I really don't know anything. Then they end up, like, doing pirate stuff, obviously, because the title is Petticoats and Piracy. They end up in the Barnaby Coast and in Algiers, which is fun, and just a lot of pirate stuff, and I don't want to spoil it, but there's a little bit of Monty and Percy in here, which is really fun, because like they're such a cute little trio, and a lot of this book focuses on women's rights, and like how women have to sort of like work even harder to be treated as equals, which is really cool because a lot of this book is like about female friendship, which is really nice because you don't have that in the first book. And there's like no love interest because Felicity is ace, which is also really cool because we never get that. There's even like some sea monsters in here, which is interesting because I thought it was supposed to be historical fiction. Maybe now it's historical fantasy. Or maybe people in the 1700s just don't know what the fucking animal is, and so they're going to call it a sea monster. But it was really interesting, you know, similar surprise twist to the first book in terms of who the real and true villain is. And I think that that is really cool, and that's a nice, cool thing that Mackenzi Lee employs in a lot of her books. I highly recommend it. It's definitely similar to the first book. It's a lot of, and also similar to Sugarland, which I reviewed in October. It's a lot of sort of trying to get into the headspace of what it's like to be living in a time period in the past where women were treated like shit, but at the same time, it's like they're aware of the discourse that we're having today, and how like women have to work even harder to be treated as equals, and especially women of color, and like the things that are in the same vein as like back then is that the supporting character Sim, who is a black Muslim woman, she like should have her birthright, which is like getting to command this like fleet of ships that her dad's in charge of, but she will never get it because she's a woman, no matter how hard she tries to prove herself. And like those things are kind of cool. And then Joanna, her whole thing is that like she's really feminine, but also she's intelligent and driven and ambitious, and she's like, Felicity, stop being a dick to me just because I'm feminine and you're not, and I want to be feminine and also an adventurer, and you can't wrap your head around that because you're stupid. She doesn't say that, but that's basically what it is. That's basically what's going on. There's really like no real issues that I had with it other than just like it felt somewhat contrived, which is why it didn't get 5 stars for me. I really felt that like the first book was far more original, and I think that's because there's like no male bisexual characters in any form of media, whereas this one, it almost always feels like it always feels to me like people are trying too hard when they talk about feminism and when they talk about asexuality to be like, I'm ace and it's normal. And it's like, yeah, you're ace and it's normal, but like it's cool. Like we get it. And maybe I'm just being picky because I know real ace people in real life, and I feel like a lot of people are just like bitchy when it comes to writing ace characters. And I mean, this is the same issue I had with the last ace book, which was Tash Hart's Tolstoy. And also the same thing when you try and do like feminist historical fiction, it feels like contrived, but at the same time like girl power, and I want these women to succeed because men are making their lives miserable, because men always make lives miserable and women deserve to succeed. But I really did like it, so that's why I got a 4. I'm sorry this review went up late. I was writing my capstone paper, and then also the shooting happened 10 minutes from my house. You can watch that video if you really want. So there's all of that. And then there is this upcoming book, which I'm super excited about. I've been wanting to read this book for like over a year, and I've just never made the time to read it. This upcoming book is The Village by John Strasbaugh. It is a history of Greenwich Village, so I'm super stoked. It's like 400 years of beats and bohemians, radicals, and rogues, a history of Greenwich Village. And if you don't know, Greenwich Village is the gayborhood of New York City. It's super cool. There's like East and West Village now. It's like very big. And it's a huge center of American queer history. Queer history in the States is generally, I guess, like relegated to Greenwich Village in New York City or to San Francisco. And I know a lot about San Franciscan history just because a lot of the people that I'm really interested in tended to live there. Like Ginsberg and Cassidy, and I also read this really interesting book about this, it was like a memoir, autobiography about this girl whose dad was gay, and he lived in San Francisco, so she grew up in San Francisco with him, and that book is really amazing. I think it's called Fairyland by Alicia Abbott. One of the best books I've ever read. It was really good. But in addition to that, Allen Ginsberg, my true father and patron saint, did also live in New York City, so I'm hoping he'll be referenced at least a little bit in here. I already know that Walt Whitman is, so this is going to be super exciting, and if this review comes late as well, don't be surprised because we're starting to get close to finals, and this review is going to go up basically right around finals and also right before my cousin's bat mitzvah, so it might have to come out the first week of December like this one did. But it's supposed to be a really cool book, and so I highly recommend that you get it and read it along with me. And also, if you guys read The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, which came out October 2nd, like, you should totally write your comments in the comments, what you thought of it, if you liked it, if you hated it, if you hate what I had to say about it. And also, if you are interested in reading along with us, we do have a Goodreads group. I also have a queer podcast with Hannah Moskowitz, who also had a book that came out this month called Salt. That one came out October 30th or something. I don't know. The very tail end of October. And she's amazing, and I love her, and I would die for her. So you should go and read her book as well. I also have a Patreon. Please. I'm a bitch who's about to start working 24 hours a week, so I need a little bit of extra support for when I am not able to cook myself dinner. That would be super awesome and helpful of you guys. I am super excited for this next book, if you can't tell. Thank you guys for watching, for listening, for doing all of this stuff, and I will see you next time with something that is probably not a book review, but it might be a book review. I don't know. I have a whole list of things, but no set schedule. So, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.
Oh, Mamma Mia, here I go again.